In a world where carbs are your enemy, you need one man to help you fight your battles. That man is Jimmy.
Combating nutrition disinformation and general bull. It's Jimmy Rants. JimmyRants.com.
Are you looking for whole food supplements for your ketogenic lifestyle? Then let me introduce you to Further Food. Go to furtherfood.com and you'll see that they source the highest quality ingredients on the planet. They have collagen peptides and my favorite, the gelatin powder to make those yummy gummies. And all of it is sourced from grass-fed, pasture-raised bovine collagen from Argentina, Paraguay, and Uruguay. Guys, this is really high quality collagen and gelatin. There's no hormones or antibiotics. It's non-GMO and it's the most tasteless and easiest to use on the market. And if you're not using collagen and gelatin, you need to be adding this to your ketogenic lifestyle. It helps reduce wrinkles, increase skin elasticity, making your skin firmer and softer. Collagen helps nails and hair grow longer and stronger while helping to rebuild your bones and strengthen your joints and ligaments. Collagen also helps with digestion and will help you curb your carb cravings. Again, head on over to furtherfood.com, enter the coupon code Jimmy at checkout, and you'll get 20% off your order. Elevate your wellness. Further Food.
What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another Instagram Live, and we're here with another episode of Jimmy Rants. JimmyRants.com is the website. Here's how the fun begins, you guys. We start off over on Instagram. So if you're not following me on Instagram, go follow me there at Living Low Carb Man, LIVINLOWCARBMAN. Once you're there, you can engage live in the content, just like Patriot Marine and Joshua and Chris and so many more that are coming in live right now. If you miss the live, you can watch the replay for up to 24 hours. But after 24 hours, it does disappear from Instagram. But we got you covered. We throw all the past episodes up on YouTube. Type in a keyword, Jimmy Rants. You will find the show over on YouTube. Finally, we have the best of the best moments of this here show in podcast form. It's the Jimmy Rants podcast on Apple Podcasts as well as Stitcher. All of these links, you guys, are at JimmyRants.com. Today's Jimmy Rants is another one of those philosophical, sociological type of questions that I like to ask. And I put this out there on my stories a little bit earlier. I also threw it up on all my social media channels, and I've gotten such incredible engagement to this question. Why do you follow the work of a keto advocate who is overweight? And I know it's supposed to be taboo to talk about this. I don't care about taboo. I talk about all kind of stuff all the time. And it's so funny because when I posted about this, I posted this comment that was made on Twitter, and this gentleman that had said something about how I can't possibly be healthy because of my weight, and so I shouldn't be talking about keto, yada, 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 all the same old stuff. And people are like, oh, you need to avoid the haters. And it really wasn't about that. The reason I posted this is I find it very interesting, this whole notion that if you don't, quote, look the part, be the part, are the part in the eyes of people, that somehow the information you share is invalid. And so I wanted to ask this question just to see how people would respond. And overwhelmingly, I've gotten some really good responses. In fact, let me go to some of the responses. So the question was, why do you follow the work? This person says because he represents real people out there with real life weight struggles. Yep. Weight loss has nothing to do with your overall health or even keto, as far as I'm concerned. That is an opinion that someone shared. Because you tell the truth with open-minded fairness and humor. So good responses so far. And then this person, health on a daily basis which I'm seeing, because I come on here every single day on Jimmy Rants, that's for sure. Doesn't matter how much you weigh as long as you're making improvements. And, just did that one, sorry. Because you're kind, you're real like the rest of us, you build us up, you don't tear us down. If you're just joining us, we are answering this question that I threw out on Instagram story and all over my social media pages earlier today. Why do you follow the work of a keto advocate who is overweight? It was kind of an interesting philosophical question that I really wanted to hear from you guys, just kind of get a vibe for this. This person said knowledge, compassion, dedication, honesty, and realness. Thank you for that. This person says because you love people, and I do. Another one, you're working on undoing years upon years of metabolic damage, and you're real and relatable in doing that. Awesome. I follow you for your knowledge. This journey isn't about just weight. I want to be healthy. There's a lot of reasons. Keto is not just about the weight loss. I relate to someone who's on the journey itself. Lots and lots. I'm scrolling through. Lots of really great responses, you guys, and I'm very grateful to everybody who sent me that, but sent me some kind of a comment like that. So to me, this question goes so much deeper, because the notion that you can't say anything, especially in the realm of diet and health, unless you are the picture perfect view of health, and health as defined by culture. So if you look at culture, culture will tell you that if you're skinny, you're healthy. That's what culture tells you. My wife, Christine, is a perfect example of why that is dead wrong. She was stick thin for most of her life. She was 90 pounds when I met her in early 20s. We got married, she was 95, and she was dealing with a lot of metabolic and gut health issues and autoimmune conditions, which turned into 3 different autoimmune conditions she dealt with. Uber skinny, stick thin skinny on the outside. And everybody, by all measures, would have looked at her and said, you are the epitome of health. And yet there are other people who, instead of developing autoimmune disease or developing some other internal disease that you don't see manifest as weight, it manifests as weight. And so people have this view of, oh my gosh, if you've got weight on the outside, you must be doing something wrong. There must be something wrong in your diet. And I get this a lot, you guys, because I promote a ketogenic diet. People are like, well, if you're truly eating keto, you should be down in weight. And what I try to remind people so often is diet is a huge, huge factor in determining your weight and your health, but it's not the only factor. I think sometimes we forget from whence we came. We forget the context of people. People often neglect the fact that I used to be well over 400 pounds in my life. And so as someone who used to be 400 plus pounds, and all we know about fat cells really never going away, fat cells are still around. Even after you lose weight, you still have fat cells in there. And there's actually research that has shown that those fat cells remember what it's like to be fat. And so they're constantly pushing your body to get back there again. And if you're just joining us, we're talking about why you follow the work of a keto advocate who's obviously overweight. I'm talking about myself. And this is supposed to be a taboo subject, but I don't care about taboo. I talk about everything. Because from a philosophical standpoint, I find it fascinating with the culture's obsession about your weight and your weight being your health, and all the kind of comments that I get that I can't possibly be healthy because of the weight that's still in my body. All of this kind of comes to a head to me to talk about this. And I think we should talk about this. Does someone like myself have no right to talk about health because I'm still in the midst of the journey? And what about other people? What about someone who is skinny and they're giving health information? But then metabolically on the inside, they're dealing like Christine, my wife Christine, they're dealing with autoimmune conditions. And it is so fascinating to me that we would vilify basically someone dealing with weight issues simply because that's something visual that we can see. And yet there might be some people that are dealing with some autoimmune conditions and other things internally that metabolically they are far less healthy than someone like myself who has weight on the outside, but a lot of the numbers on the inside look good. And people can't wrap their heads around that. And they can't understand why you guys, all of my Jimmy Rancers, they can't understand why you come here every single day to watch me. They don't understand, wow, why are you listening to that guy? He obviously doesn't have his health under control. So what are you going to learn from that guy? It's kind of an interesting subject to me. Just from the whole standpoint of what we believe, why we believe it, the stereotypes that exist when it comes to who's communicating information. I've been called every name under the book, from a charlatan to a shyster to a huckster to all this stuff, because they claim that, okay, you're promoting keto, but it's obvious you're not doing keto. You have to be eating donuts on the side or you would be stick thin by now. And they don't understand the metabolism aspect of this. They don't understand the damage from past eating part of this, eating habits. Anyway, so the bottom line of this Jimmy Rants is you have your reasons why you follow the work of a keto advocate who's overweight. And most of you come because you know I'm trying to sincerely give you good information that then you could look up, you could research, you could find for yourself whether it's true or not. And not all a bunch of robots and lemmings and people kind of going through the motions of it all. You're living your life and you're getting information to then use. And I'm providing that to you. And that's why you keep coming back. All right, here's a few others. I follow you because I like how you break down bogus science studies and articles. And I do that a lot here on Jimmy Rants. Because thin does not equal healthy. As I mentioned earlier, bodies thrive at all different sizes. Duh, people. I love that one. That was cute. Science and knowledge of nutrition. And this is the thing. People are like, well, he can't possibly know anything and it's invalid whatever comes out of his mouth. I could be Jabba the freaking Hutt and talk about the science supporting keto. It doesn't change the science just because I'm Jabba the Hutt, right? So it's kind of funny. Knowledgeable and a good person. Thank you for that. Not afraid to share science-based truths because they have relatable struggles and their journey's not over. This is some of the reasons why people follow the work of a keto advocate who's overweight. Your weight does not diminish the knowledge. We all struggle with something. And that's the thing. I don't struggle with like carby foods or whatever. People have that notion of, whoa, if you have weight on the body, you must still be having food issues. And not always. Sometimes just weight's just stubborn, doesn't want to move. Knowledge, experience, passion, love people. Just did that one. Sorry. Trustworthy, caring, great keto advice. Thank you for everything. Thank you. Because what you say has value. And I do think that. Not just on the bandwagon like some youngins. I'm overweight and the struggle is relatable. Always progress over perfection. Because it's actual real life and actual results might vary kind of thing. Okay, you guys get the idea. So, thank you guys for all of your comments on that. I definitely want to see what you guys have to say here. Welcome in, welcome in. If you're just joining us, we're talking about this question that I posed earlier on Instagram story and then all over social media. Why do you follow the work of a keto advocate who's overweight? And it's fascinating to me. The overwhelming response that I've gotten is positivity and appreciation. And I think people appreciate most is they feel like I'm one of them. There's nothing worse than seeing someone online who pretends like they have all the answers. Those people I run away from, because those are the people that you can tell from the start. Maybe they are sincere, but from the start, they look insincere. Well, it's just so easy. Just do what I say. And if you do what I say, you look like me. Bada bing, bada boom. And it's like, I have no time for those people. Patriot Marine. Wow, right out of the gate. Honestly, not trying to be a hater, but why are you still carrying so much fat? Hashtag you're not doing it right. I agree to disagree on that. Because what am I not, quote, doing right? It's really fascinating to me that there is this notion that if you simply do X, then Y should happen. But what happens when you do X and Z happens? Is there an explanation for that? And you can't say, well, you're not doing X. What if the person is doing X? If the person's doing X and Y should happen, and then they do X and Z happens, how do you explain Z? What's going on there? Perhaps there's more complexity to this than people want to admit. So while I appreciate you're not trying to be hateful in your comment also presumes that there's some kind of something that I'm doing wrong, and I would beg to differ. I enjoy ranting with you, says C-Doc. Thank you. I'm glad you're here, C-Doc. Perhaps have a pic of yourself when you started in the corner of the video. Yeah. Well, yeah. So when I started, I had major inflammation and carb face, so to speak. Here's the other thing. All these people that say I should be doing something to try to bring about fat loss. I've seen this quite a bit lately. I've lost 29 pounds this year. Is that nothing? Is that all for naught? Is the fact that I've found something in keto carnivore that's helping to move the needle? Is that irrelevant? Is that just not happening? And see, you guys, somebody in my position who has notoriety online and people know my name, and because of that, there's this familiarity with who and what I am, and so people have their judgments about me as well. So that's another thing that kind of goes into this discussion is there's characterizations of people that aren't the same as the people. And so I always try to share with people who and what I am, but some people have created their opinions based on the caricature of what they've heard. One common refrain is that I'm a butter chugger. I've never understood what that means. Never once have I chugged butter. I don't even know what that would look like. It sounds kind of gross to me. But I can't really control those kind of people. George says, started for weight loss and stayed for health. The reason I follow you is I researched you. I read your book. I listened to your podcast and read all your books. And then I met you in person and totally authentic. Thank you, George. George does know me. He said, don't judge a book by its cover. Cynthia says, experience. I love to hear and read everything you do. Keep giving us a piece of your knowledge and hard work on research. Yeah, I always will. It's kind of my jam now. I love it. Keto Bell Ireland. Hello again from Ireland. Just started 1 meal a day, 23 hours of fasting. What's your number one tip? Salt. Lots and lots of pink Himalayan sea salt under the tongue all throughout the day will keep you from getting hungry. It's Darla Daisy. I go back to the bodybuilding world. Their off-season that last sometimes years. Why would I want to listen to them? You're at least real and acknowledge that we all are different. Kimberly says, your knowledge is power. Your ability to relate to others is real. I adore the fact you're willing to share the good and the bad. You're priceless. Thank you, Kimberly. You're a little bit biased because you do love my work, so thank you for that. I have 28 pounds I'd love to give away, said Kimberly. Marla says, your struggle gave me the inspiration to keep, it says twerking, but I think you meant tweaking. We don't want to keep twerking. You want to see Jimmy Moore twerk? No, nobody wants to see Jimmy Moore twerk. Tweaking to that messed me up. To find what my body needs. Thank you. Yes, Marla, never stop twerking. I mean, tweaking your keto. So guys, if you're just joining us, we're talking about this question that I posed a little bit earlier on social media, all about why you follow somebody who is a keto advocate, but they still have weight on their body, still overweight. And it's been fascinating to see the response, overwhelmingly so, across all of social media today. When I posted this, so much outpouring of positivity, of how, despite my continued working on the body fat, which I am, by the way, that you still follow, you still get stuff, you still get value out of what I share. And this is a lesson, you guys. I think we sometimes discard certain parts of the keto community because, well, they're not relevant because they don't look the part. And I've spoken openly about not being invited to speak at 4 of the major conferences in keto this year. And I have expressed out loud, I wonder if it's because of the weight, which would be a shame if that was. I don't know that's the reason, but it would be a shame if that was. But that said, I have plenty of opportunities to get the message out here on Jimmy Rants and other formats, and I do, and get it out quite often. And I am not afraid to come out and share. It would be easy for someone in my position to hide behind and not ever come on camera, hide behind a microphone and do a podcast. It would be easy for me to write books and let nobody ever see my face. But guys, I would never do that. I think you deserve to see my face, and know when I'm speaking very clearly about maybe some stress that's going on in my life that is my theory as to why I've held on to weight. It's why I've decided to step away for 6 months starting in September, which I've talked about before on Jimmy Rants. It's why I constantly try to be vulnerable. And when you make yourself vulnerable and you're willing to take a lot of heat, it can get grinding some days. But the end result is it's nothing but a net positive in my eyes to be able to be that way. And I wish more in the community would be that way. I think sometimes we try to put on this happy face and we pretend like that we have to be perfect and everything has to just be so. And I'm so over that. And a lot of people are over that. That's why so much of kind of the normality that's out there becomes stagnant in the community. What you'll never get from Jimmy Moore is stagnation. You will always hear me kind of push the boundaries, and call out people when they need to be called out, and to speak truth where nobody else is speaking truth. That's what I always promise to give you guys. It's why you follow my work, and I'm grateful to each and every one of you for being here and always showing your support for what I do. So guys, that's it for this episode of Jimmy Rants. JimmyRants.com is the website. As always, we start off over on Instagram. So go follow me there at Livin' Low Carb Man, LIVINLOWCARBMAN. Once you're there, you can engage live in the content, just like all my peeps here today. Thank you, Jimmy Rantsers, for your presence here today. If you missed the live, you can watch it on replay for up to 24 hours. After 24 hours, poof, it disappears. But we put all the past episodes over on YouTube. Type in a keyword, Jimmy Rants. You will find the show. Finally, the best of the best moments of this here show in podcast form is on the Jimmy Rants podcast over on Apple Podcast and Stitcher. All of these links, you guys, are at jimmyrants.com. So until next time, we'll see you then.